Welcome back everybody, we are here once more at usual time. Tonight we are once more looking at AMC Entertainment. So AMC today, it is kind of a mixed story because what we are seeing is we are seeing a big move upwards towards the beginning of the day up until these highs and even in the pre-market. But right now we are seeing a little bit of a dip. Now again, we're going to be talking about this more in a moment. But what we are seeing today is that AMC, despite all of these attempts to short the stock, is still up by 17.2% at the moment. And again, there is still some time to go before the market does close. So anything could happen in that time, but what we are seeing today is some decent movement actually in the price of AMC. Now some people are going to say that it is not as good as it should be for reasons which I will highlight in just a moment. But as we do get into the video, I am going to highlight the usual stuff which we do on YouTube. One, this is not financial advice, but if you do enjoy, do make sure to subscribe, as obviously I do make videos on AMC and other stocks and cryptos pretty much daily. And again guys, hopefully I'm getting back to that usual schedule right now because we uploaded yesterday and I'm doing so again today. Hopefully I can keep it up, we will just have to see, but thank you for the prolonged support. But yes, we are going to jump into this one now, look at AMC and the movement that we have seen today over the past few hours basically. So first things first, we can see now AMC is seeing a little bit of a dip most recently. Now we're going to get back to that in just a moment because again this one could definitely come back up from that, or we could see a little bit of downwards momentum, but either way I do not think it matters, as you guys will know from our previous videos. What we are seeing today from 9:30 AM, basically once retail could get their hands on these shares, the price rocketed. We hit highs in the day up here, which were at about 59.49, and what people are saying is that we are hitting a bit of resistance at the $60 level, and again that does appear to be the case. So we came very close to it back here where we just basically were a few cents below it, and then we came close to it again here where we were back in the $59 range, but obviously it did not stay and we saw a bit of a dip. Now people are saying that this is a shorts obviously attacking the stock. It absolutely could be the case that that is what is happening, but obviously we are seeing a dip now, and you know what, whether shorts are attacking the stock, which people are alleging that they are, it isn't really working anymore, because yes, we are seeing these shorts dip the price here and here as people may claim, but obviously it isn't scaring people anymore, as we may know. We've had so much news over the past few months, we've had so much news even over the past week, that I don't think people are going to be selling AMC anytime soon, because we all know what we are here for and we all know what we definitely could get if we are potentially patient. So I think right now, these small dips in the price, obviously you've seen the shares dip down to about $40-ish, back into the $40 range back here, but obviously that wasn't enough to scare people either, as back on Monday, which was today, we saw more growth, which is a good sign for the whole movement. So I'm really happy that AMC is in the green today, even if it is only by about $8 so far. Now for me, I would be happy if we could see this one close around here, but I would definitely love to see it break past the $60 range, because that does appear to be a bit of a resistance that we are hitting. But anyway, that is what we are seeing today so far with AMC. As I did mention, things could change going forwards, because the last hour or so, as you guys will probably know by now, is called the power hour, or that's what people are calling it, and that is when people, generally speaking, buy more, and obviously subsequently the price could take a big hike up towards the end of the day, and we may even break past 60, because AMC, I am very, unlikely to say what this one absolutely could do, because it is hard to predict. We're in a very unprecedented situation, as you guys will know, and that is shown with the price action. So we're seeing quite unnatural price action in my eyes today. I think this slow, growth up with the amount of shares traded that we have, which I will get onto in just a moment, I don't think it is accurate. I think something definitely could be going on there. So I'm not too happy about how it has been moving, but the fact that it is up so far is still great. So now I'm going to move on to that section which I spoke about just a few moments ago, and this is the volume that we are seeing today. So we have our chart on AMC here, very similar to the last one, but this one is in candlesticks. It tells you all of the same things, but what I really want to focus on here is the numbers that we are seeing. Now this number is coming from Yahoo Finance. We're going over to Stonko Tracker in a minute. What we can see on Yahoo Finance is that the number of shares traded today so far is about 280.2 million. So 280 million shares traded, that is a decent number, it's a very large number, and we are seeing the share price increase by only 16%. Now I know that may sound like a large amount, but let's just get some context on what we have seen in the past, if we may. So for this I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer, and we're going to look at volume that we have seen previously. We're going to start off down here just to get a bit of context that we have seen in the past few weeks and months. So basically we're going to start off down here and have a look at the volume that we saw. So we saw volume of about 300 million here. The share share price didn't move very much. Up here we saw 705 million, and up here we saw volume figures of around 766 million. So again, we are seeing some decent volume, but if we do look at what we are seeing, the price is not necessarily moving as much as it should, in my opinion, based on what we are seeing. And yes, a lot of people are shorting the stock, as we already know, but I just think that we should have seen a bit more movement, and that is my thoughts today. Obviously, just my opinion. Now we're going to go over to Stock Tracker, because this also shows us some interesting information, and they actually do have their own figures looking at the amount of volume traded today. So their figures are very similar to Yahoo Finance. They're showing figures around here of 277 million so far. So again, not too bad, and it is pretty close to what we were seeing over on Yahoo Finance. So it does seem to be quite accurate. And again, a lot of shares traded today, and even though we are up 16.2%, I don't think it is as large of a gain as we probably should have made today. And that is just my thoughts and opinions. So we're going to scroll down here to a little bit and have a look at some other figures that we can see from Stock Tracker. So this information is coming from 1416, obviously on today, and it shows us a little bit of information about these shares available and all that kind of stuff. So we can see a little bit of an update throughout the day. What we saw is a lot of shares being borrowed throughout the day, as we saw larger numbers in shares available throughout the last week. But what we are seeing today is a big decrease up until now, which we'll get into in just a moment. But basically at 13:32, so about 1:30 on June the 7th today, we can see that the figures were 150,000 shares available only. Now ever since then, in the last hour or so, this one has gone up, and we are now seeing available shares of 1.2 million. I know some people are probably going to use this to spread FUD. I do not think it is a big deal. We've spoken about the numbers before. 1.2 million shares available. Even if these shares were covered, even if things were sent back, I do not think it is a big deal, because when we look at the amount of shares shorted for AMC, the numbers do speak for themselves, and people are talking about these phantom shares or these synthetic shares, and if that is the case, if they are out there, we could see a much larger number. So when we get 1.2 million shares available, and down from 150,000, it may sound like a big increase, it may sound like a lot of shares have been returned, but I do not think it is too big of a deal when we look at the wider picture. So if you are worrying about that, obviously this is not financial advice, but I do not think that is too much of a big deal. Now we're going to have a look at the borrow fee that we are seeing. So throughout the day, it has been about 7%, down to 6.9, and down to about 6.6 right now, which kind of does make sense, but you know what? It doesn't matter. We already know how close we could potentially be to this squeeze, so you know what? Seeing things like that, again, when we look at it in the whole context, when we look at it and what we could be seeing in the next few weeks and months, I do not think it matters too much, but there you go, that is what we are seeing. So again, we are coming towards the end of the day now. We are not there yet, but what we are seeing so far is a dip in price for AMC. Now hopefully this is not the case towards the end of the day. Hopefully we can remain green, and hopefully it doesn't dip by too much. But this is a tactic that we have been seeing a lot with AMC shares, in my opinion. We are seeing the share price obviously rocket throughout the day, usually a lot more than what we are seeing today, but we're seeing a big increase in share price in the day, and coming towards the end of session, we are seeing a bit of a sell-off. Now people are saying that this is potentially to get people to want to sell the shares towards the end of the day, but I think it doesn't really matter once more. Again, these scare tactics, we've seen them for so long, and they do not really work anymore. People know what we are here for, and that is the main thing which I want to focus on today. So AMC in the green is fantastic to see, even with the dip that we are seeing. We're coming up towards the last hour or two of trading. Let's see what happens. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.